guys, how's it going? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we've got a brand new topic today. We're going to be talking about Family of Nomads, and this is Jess and Dub. I'm just going to leave the names up here. I haven't really, I very rarely ever hear them actually say their own names, so I literally had to go on their website just to double check that this is actually what they're called. So here you go. And they basically travel around in their great big RV, which, to be fair, like, the clue is in the name, Family of Nomads. Like, they travel about, they've got 3 kids.
People ask us if the kids actually enjoy traveling full-time and living in the camper.
This video is not going to be, and I don't want people to get this twisted, it's not going to be me bashing like homeschooling or bashing how people want to live their lives. Do you know what I mean? Like, some people do like living, like, traveling about. It's not for everybody, and I do, obviously, there's a part of me which does question just how much kids, when they get older, want to live so confined with their parents and their other siblings. Of course, I think about that. However, I'm not here to like parent shame and pick it apart, but what I will talk about is the content that I see and some of the things which lead me to believe that it's just not looking like it's all cracked up to be. And anyone who has been following them, because I literally started following them like last week, so my knowledge is fairly limited, so please go and teach me in the comments. I'm just talking about things that I've seen that have interested me, that made me go a little bit like, what is going on?
Addison's 15th birthday, the only thing they wanted was to go to a hotel.
I did find this video of them basically introducing themselves. I'm basically saying that a few years ago, one of their kids had like a real terrible, they were diagnosed like terminally ill, so pretty serious, and they decided, you know what, we're just gonna choose living, we're just gonna do whatever we want to do. So then that is how they then decided to start up doing all of this van life, traveling around.
We actually left South Carolina in September of 2020, so we're coming up on our 1-year nomad anniversary.
What I did find quite interesting about this clip, however, was the fact that they then started talking about their TikTok, and they're now like nomads, like van lifer people. Obviously, a part of me is going like, well, yeah, I can understand their thought process if they're being put through a really challenging, like, I can't imagine anything like that, having to go through that with one of your kids. I'm extremely fortunate I've never had to go through that. But I can imagine then you're just like, well, okay, let's just do whatever we want to do. And a part of me does go like, is that your dream or is that their dream? They then started talking about them following other van lifers and how they then started like the TikToks and all of that kind of thing.
Started off just uploading a few videos to TikTok, grabbed the bull by the horns there, and have grown the TikTok and our Instagram to help inspire others to live your life to the fullest and just take your life and just do what you want with it, and don't let anybody hold you back.
You know what? I think maybe some of it has got to do with like I just said, oh, let's be free, let's do whatever we want to do, like, effort, life for the living. But then another part of me is going like, maybe you saw the success that followed, or maybe that was just a part of it, because some of these big channels get such a cult-like following. Like, van life is a very big thing over just on the internet. Like, some of these channels are mad. Like, the Inghams are trying but failing to do that right now, and I can see why that would draw in like a massive audience. And the thing is that their RV, they were showing like a little tour around the RV. Like, this isn't just any RV, this is like the Mercedes-Benz of RVs on the inside, and I don't know what model it is. I'm not an RV expert.
We live in a Heartland Cyclone 4014C, and we pretty much have the same comforts that you would have in a traditional home.
But just them showing a tour around that thing, I'm like, I could live in that, but I wouldn't want to live in that with like that many people. Makes any sense? But if it was just me, I'd be well happy. It's got 2 bathrooms. I'm just like, it's deluxe. What I will say though is that the kids' sleeping areas are pretty small. There was one clip where they were showing where one of their kids couldn't even like sit up because the area is so small. So they've got 2 kids sharing a small bit downstairs, and they've got this like ladder that goes upstairs where their eldest sleeps, and it looked extremely cramped.
Here is my keychain wall and my AirPods.
And again, right, you guys don't know this about me, I lived on a boat for about 2 years because my family were always well into boating. This will make sense. My sleeping quarters were pretty cramped, but not on, it was a big boat, like a big boat. It wasn't like a little boat. It wasn't as small as that, like height room. So part of me is going like, well, I don't know, would I want that? But then again, this is something that I wouldn't like. Maybe they like that, maybe they don't. But a lot of people point out in the comment section that some of their sleeping areas are a little bit too cramped for like an older kid, if you see what I mean. Interestingly enough, well, the very first bit of controversy comes in is this clip that I found, and I'll play it to you right now.
Addison's 15th birthday, the only thing they wanted was to go to a hotel. So I rented us a condo for the weekend, and it was really nice to have a change of pace. Addison just wanted to hang out with the family and watch movies and play Pokemon cards with their brother and sister. I will say by the end, however, every single one of us missed our bed. We really take it for granted that we get to travel with our bed everywhere we go.
Basically, they could have anything they wanted on their birthday, and they requested that they sleep in a hotel. Now, of course, I'll read you the comments. The comments were like going ham on this. The comments were saying all sorts, so I'll read them out to you right now.
I think they're trying to tell you something. And then Family of Nomad said, people who live in houses like to go stay in hotels too. You're reading way too much into this. They wanted to go to a hotel so they could get to sleep in a normal room. And they then replied, a lot of people like to go somewhere different than their home for a change of scenery. It's really not that deep. I will say that for every time that someone decides to comment one of these kind of things, I'm assuming this is, I mean, it could be Jess or Dub, I mean, who really knows? They will come to their own defense because they must believe that their way of doing things is the right way, and they think that's what works well for their kids. But to me, I think the fact that their kid was asking to do that above and beyond of anything else, if I was 15 years old, I don't know, I'd ask to do so many other different things rather than just staying in a hotel with your friends. And I don't know, I'm extremely split about it, but I do think it is quite telling. And her sort of just, you know, shrugging it off and going, oh, it's not that deep. I don't know.
If you've spent so long living in like a bus, it kind of is a bus. It's big, man. It's big. It's like a luxury bus. If you're so used to sleeping in your like luxury bus, then maybe you would be like, oh no, I kind of want to live. And this just brings me back to the fact of, you know, is this what they want to do, or is this what their parents want them to do? And once again, I'm not trying to parent shame. I'm just trying to like give two sides to this. Is that they also do a lot of the filming, like a lot of the filming. In fact, you know, quite a lot of their content, it used to be a bit more about, you know, how we do this and that and da-da-da-da-da. But then some of their content is literally like just their kids and what their kids are doing. They're much bigger over on TikTok. I'm pretty sure that their TikTok was original, which is what they said. And then they then do what like Jonathan Jolie and everyone seems to do right now, which is basically just like copy and paste the videos from TikTok over to YouTube. But occasionally you will get a full video. And some of the TikToks that they do just make me go like, what we doing here? Like, how are we here? It's not really helping you. So for instance, they don't do homeschooling, they do road schooling, kind of like the Fizz Fam's version of unschooling. I think that's what they call it. But they basically learn through life. So they go down to the beach and they build like sandcastles and make it into like a science experiment and all that. I don't have an issue with homeschooling. Road schooling, I'm sorry. This is taking it a bit too far for me. Sorry if that offends someone. I'm sorry. You watch some of their videos and I'm just like, but I don't understand how this is going to be helpful. And we will get onto some level of praise in a minute. But sometimes I'll be watching their like road schooling things and I'm just like, how is this helpful? For instance, they are in the back of a car and they're all doing work. Someone asked a question like, how do you guys teach your kids when you're on the road? And then she then shows all three of her kids with like little phones and stuff in the back.
We're going to the Florida Keys today, and typically on drive days, the kids do their schoolwork in the car. Addison and Grace do their schoolwork on their phone, and TJ does it on the tablet.
Like, oh, they do their online learning on their phone. It's like, you can't online learn on your phone. It's impossible. I film on my phone and edit on my phone, and I find that mind-numbingly annoying. I'd much rather do it on a computer, but here we are, whatever.
One person went in on this. They said, I've tried doing work on my phone and it's a nightmare, but this is better than learning at school, even though the teacher is an uneducated TikToker that can't understand her children. Now, whether or not I necessarily agree with this commenter or not, this is a very fierce response to what a lot of people are thinking. And I won't lie, when I originally saw the clip of them sat in the back of the car, they're backpacking off somewhere else, I was thinking, like, is this what they do all the time? But truly, we will never know exactly how much work the kids do, really well and truly. We can take a guess, but a lot of people are angry like that, and it reflects quite a lot in their comment section.
Anyway, I roll my eyes at family vloggers who take their kids out of school so that they can have them on camera more, because that is just the way that it looks. Because, you know, if their kids are on the film and their kids are on the camera, if they didn't have the kids living them in that RV, it probably wouldn't be such a big successful channel, although a lot of people are talking about it. Jess, the mum, she's very strict about making sure that her kids know how to like look after themselves, which is actually quite an amazing thing, which is the complete opposite of what Alicia does.
A lot of you guys were very confused when we talked about how much money we give our kids for allowance. And I don't think everyone fully understands how much money parents actually spend when a kid asks for a toy or a special treat. And our kids are the ones that are responsible for making those decisions.
So what she'll do is she gets them to like go and pick out food and then cook the food and like make a meal out of it. So do the whole entire process. And she also gets them to like budget and stuff to go in and get like even toiletries and that are budgeted.
Give our kids a quarterly hygiene budget to spend on any personal care products that they could want or need during that time period. Our youngest is 9 and he gets $100 every 3 months. If we notice the kids are not using their products in order to have more money left over at the end of the 3 months, the budget will be taken away from them. This does not mean that they will not have access to hygiene products. It just means that they will not get the money that's left over at the end, and I will pick out the hygiene products for them.
So one person said, not sure I agree with the spend it or lose it lesson, but you do you. And they said they will only lose it if they buy items they don't use. It teaches them to not waste money on things they won't use. And the thing is, I can't help but feel that she's going, well, you know what, if you don't spend, like Jess is saying, if you don't buy just hygiene products, you know, if you're saving up that money and you're trying to find other use for it, they're then going to take away that choice for you, and they're then going to be in charge of spending that money. I don't really understand what the logic is. I think it's all well and good setting them a little budget and being like, you know what, this is what you can use to spend on your hygiene products. But then if they don't then do what you want them to do, you're then just going to take away that choice for them. I don't know. I just think it's a bit of a backwards way of thinking. Someone else said, because we can't just let kids be kids and supply basic life necessities. And just Family of Nomad said, they use our money. It's a way to teach them budgeting, not a punishment. I think the way she said our money, like they use our money, I'm not sure if they mean like the family budget. I'm assuming that's what she means, because newsflash, it's not their money, it's also their kids' money, which I suppose is what she's trying to get out of it. However, I think that in a way it's a lot of pressure to put on small children.
She also does save, so she'll take a bit. She says that, you know, her kids basically work for the channel, which is, at least she's acknowledging it, and she does put money aside into an investment, but then they can then get it out if they want. Something like that.
The kids do earn money through allowance, but we also give the kids our percentage of all of the income we make from social media, because they are a huge part of this, and usually they put it in an investment account.
The problem lies with this one video that I saw, and there's been a couple of others which have similar hints of, if the kid doesn't have enough money and they're in the supermarket, she's not going to give her the extra bit of money. So for instance, there was this one video where she went and she was following her kid around in an altar, I think it was, and the kid was all excited, like, oh, I'm gonna get this, that, that, and the mum like sounds, picture this, can you imagine walking around a store or a shop or whatever and having your mum literally just follow around like with the camera, just like, yeah, like, it was just a really odd dynamic, because even the mum sounded like well monotone. She always sounds really, really monotone when she's like filming her own kids. It's like she's concentrating so much on getting the shot that she's not actually listening to them, which is what all family vloggers do, and it drives me insane. Her daughter was like picking up stuff, and at no point did the mum say, oh, maybe you won't have enough for that. She just let her daughter just get all of the stuff and then try and pay for it, and then her card then declined, and instead of the mum actually going, oh, okay, I'll give you the extra 100 or whatever, because let's be real, these vloggers are blatantly minted, instead of doing that, she was like, she then had to put the stuff back.
Really responsible that you're not pulling money out of savings.
Yeah, I don't really want to do that, so...
Maybe put some of the nails back.
I'll figure out these things too.
Of course.
All right, so I think that should be good. We're all set. Have a great day.
And it's like, I get that you're trying to teach your kid a life lesson, but you've just filmed that, uploaded it to YouTube. She's already making money off of that YouTube. That video had about 20 to 30k on it, which is about, I don't know, 250 quid, dollars, whatever, I don't know, $300 maybe, like in conversion. If I got 20k on a video, it would be about 210 pounds, I think, roughly. She's filming her daughter in that moment, uploading it to YouTube. That is so embarrassing. You don't want to be seen, like, if your card's declining, why are you filming that? It's just so unbelievably embarrassing. And then, forgotten what point I'm on. You've already made enough money on that video where you weren't even really involved in that video. That was your child. Your child's basically working for you at that very point. Could you not have just like given her the extra money, since she's literally working? She's on work time right now, so could you not have just given the extra money? I get that you're trying to like teach your kids a lesson, but like sometimes it just gets taken too far. These guys are like the opposite of the Doherty dozen in terms of like structure, all of that. Like the mum wants them to be independent and all of this. Another bit as well where she did this TikTok of someone had asked them, I'd asked the mum, hey, do your kids really like living in the RV? And then she was like, yeah, my kids love it because we went to this like RV show or whatever, and one of my kids is getting a learner's permit and they want to be able to move in together and live in their own RV.
People ask us if the kids actually enjoy traveling full time and living in the camper, and I will have to say that while we were at the RV show in Tampa this week, Grace and Addison both went around and looked at campers because their plan is when they move out, they want to live in a camper together and travel the country. They do have quite a few years before this happens, but since Addison is 15 and about to get their learner's permit, it is definitely something that they are starting to think about and consider. I love that the girls have such a close relationship because of our lifestyle that they want to continue to live together after they move out.
I do think that whenever she gets asked any of these questions, she's quite combative, and she will reply to people in the comment section when people are saying really, and she's like, yeah, da, da, da. I'm just not 100% sure. I think if you grow up living a certain way, you're more likely to continue living in that certain way, for instance. So typically people who like live, you know, in houses pretty much the whole entire life might then, and they have no sort of background of living in any other sort of like, you know, like a trailer, caravan, boat, van, whatever, you're more likely to then want to, you know, go on. But they're teaching them these life skills, but then at the same time they're also holding them back massively, because they're sort of like sheltering them from everything, not allowing them to really have like a social circle of what it looks like, because they're always sort of on the move, and making them work for you. It would make you feel quite trapped in an odd way. But they do all of that sort of like going into shops and getting their kids to severely budget and stuff. At some point, there's got to come a point, especially if your kids are working for you, like especially if they are basically your breadwinners, for you to then be like kind of like humiliating them like that in a shop. It's just not really for me. Checklist number 3 on the whole family vlogger thing. They show their kids doctor's appointments. Yes, they do. I saw this one where their kid was going in for like breathing tests and stuff. Not gonna divulge too much information. And of course there she is, just like, you know, what do you guys, it was like a question, it was like, what do you guys do for appointments? And then she's then just showing the inside of the, it's just like, why? It's just like, why? If you are sharing this much information about your kids, don't be letting them get their card declined. If you're using them for money like this, do not be letting them get their card declined. I just think that is just, or I think if you're not using your kids for content and you want to teach them how to be like financially stable and you want to teach them all these life lessons, yeah, it's great. But the thing is that you're using them to make money and you're letting them get their card declined. I can't get over it. I'm really sorry. Like I can't get over it. It's happening here. Whatever. I feel like they're trying to teach them a life lesson whilst also doing just the worst job possible, because they're family vloggers. They film their kids to make money, but they're also trying to teach their kids how to be budget savvy. And it's like, you guys make money in the worst possible way and you're trying to instill this thing into your kids, and I just don't think it matches up. Basically the gist of what I've gotten from the past like week or so, week of looking at their content. There's obviously a lot more that I've missed. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch up with you guys in the next video.